welcome everyone. I'm Rebecca Saltman, and I am here with my dear friend Jade Rader, and this is the Empath Insights Summit. We noticed some time ago that there was a gap when it came to learning about being a sensitive and empathic person in this world. So we decided to do something about that. And voila, here we are today. We started talking with other amazing empathic people and learned so much that we felt we needed to share it with the world. We love what we do so much. We get to talk to the most incredible people, and in the process, we learn every single time. Today, we have the incredible pleasure of talking to Dana Micheli. She is both an author in our You Empath You anthology and, oh yeah, the extraordinary editor of said book. And we are so delighted to have you here today in the book with us on the summit. Extraordinary, all of your extraordinariness. Our book launches on April 28th, 2022, and we never could have gotten here without you. So we are delighted to have you here. Dana shared a fabulous story in the book, and we might even talk about it a little bit today. So we're thrilled about the opportunity. Let me start with a brief introduction. Dana Micheli is a ghostwriter, editor, and owner of Writers in the Sky creative writing services. She has ghostwritten and edited nonfiction and fiction books across several genres, including memoirs, multi-generational family sagas, business and legal matters, science fiction, fantasy, romance, and crime. However, most of her projects fall along the spiritual spectrum. Before pursuing her writing career full-time, Dana served as a lobbyist on behalf of the Arizona Coalition Against Domestic Violence and as the manager of PR communications for the New York Women's Foundation. Dana has a BA in English from Southern Connecticut University and a Juris Doctorate from New York Law School. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, and I cannot be more grateful to introduce her today. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be here. It was so exciting and such a pleasure to work on this book with you. So this is wonderful.
And again, I'll say it again, and probably 100 more times, we could not have done it without you. We are so grateful for you today. And thanks so much for being here. Jade, do you think you can get us started here?
I absolutely can. I'm going to put my 57 cents in and thank Dana because she made putting words into pictures for people so easy, because that's really what has to happen. They have to feel like they're there. Now, Dana, you had some early experiences that clued you in that you were an empath. Can you tell us about those?
Sure. I mean, I think this is pretty common among empaths, but it was very much a concern for other people in my life and how they were feeling, and kind of tapping into my parents, feeling like maybe they were smiling, but there was something else going on, even though I was a little kid, but more importantly, trying to fix it. And sometimes that meant putting my own feelings aside. It happened with friends too, just always worried about everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so much there, right? Like that, how we as empaths feel, how we actually know that other people are feeling what they're feeling and we are feeling it, right? And so it's that sense that you're describing has created challenges, right? So what are some of the challenges that you faced being an empath?
Well, the challenges definitely came, I would say, before I knew I was an empath, probably my teenage years. So it was a combination of being sad for other people all the time, feeling like I had to fix things, numbing my own feelings. I did this mostly with an eating disorder when I was a teenager. And then, and also sort of bringing on the judgment of people that would doubt, like I would make a statement about somebody that we didn't know, like, oh, I know she does X, Y, and Z. And they'd be like, don't be judgmental. And I'm really not. I'm not coming from that. It's just that I'm just getting that. And later would, kind of come out. Oh, yeah. So those were probably the biggest challenges. But I'd say the eating disorder was, and I learned that in therapy, that it was sort of numbing numbing the feelings that were overwhelming to me.
Well, Dana, you're in a totally different place now, right? And how have you overcome those challenges? And my guess is there's actually even more than the ones that you shared with us, right? Like,
Sure.
what have you walked through, darling?
Well, one has just been time and sort of having a willingness to learn and say, something doesn't feel right here. You know what I mean? Like, let me explore this. Whether it's meditation, or just kind of feeling into why something was bothering me that shouldn't have been bothering me. But I have to say the biggest thing that helped me overcome challenges have been my writing clients over the years, because I work with a lot of spiritual people and their journeys. I've learned so much, and definitely this book, with the stories from the authors in this book, just learned so much about tools and things they've overcome and things that I thought were weird. And I'm like, oh, somebody else feels like this too. And it's been like 10 plus years of me having that constant influx of amazing stories from people and getting to know them personally as well.
That brings us to probably the crux, because we know you as this amazing editor and all of the other things that you did before even coming to this work, attorney work and all of these pieces. And I'm wondering, I'm curious, like, how does being an empath help you in your writing and editing projects? Because here, because it tells us all about your superpowers. So if you could sort of talk us through what that looks like and how you do it, because you have some magic that I can't even describe to our audience. Like, I could talk for hours about how magic I think you are. So please tell us a little bit about what your process is.
Well, it's funny because Sue Erda, who's, the publisher, one of the publishers, one of the Kathy Filer of this book, she's the one that first said it to me. She's like, you kind of use your intuition to work with authors. And I had never thought about it like that before. But I didn't realize that I was actually feeling into the person. And it's not just the spiritual clients, it's people that they could be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. And they'll be like, how did you wrote that? And it sounds like I would write it. Like, or, you seem to really understand how I feel. And I started to realize that I was using that ability in a way that I didn't feel like I could use it in other jobs, or just perhaps wasn't prepared to use it. Could I have used it? Yes, if I was aware. But at the time, I didn't think about empaths. I didn't know what empaths were, but this work has allowed me to kind of explore that. And again, it's been with the nurturing of my clients. I've gotten so much more from them than they ever could have gotten from me, because we would have a conversation on the phone for an hour and I would learn about their gifts and their journeys and stuff. And I was like so blown away that it made me go back and revisit my own experiences. And it's basically tapping into what they're, basically tapping into like their words on the page. I can kind of like feel into where they're coming from.
Well, Dana, having been someone who actually was edited by you, I totally agree with those people who go, how did you use those words? It sounds just like me. And you have this innate gift that literally, when I reread my edited chapter, I thought I wrote it, even though I have a lot of struggles with writing in the English language, right? The way that people would like it. I like to put things in weird places. That's me. So what advice would you give empaths and offer them that want to tell their story, because you have so much magic to share?
Well, the writing and the editing are two different animals. So the first thing I would say is don't edit what you're getting, because empaths bite, and as I've read throughout the book with the other authors, they have other gifts as well. They're channeling, they're speaking to their crossed over loved ones and they're getting messages from them. So don't edit what you're getting. Just sit down and write, even if it's, I love to write with a pen and paper sometimes just to kind of brainstorm that way. But just write down what you want to say, what you're getting, the message, any messages you're getting. What is your heart telling you to write about? You might want to write the thriller novel, but you might be getting called to write about something else that could help people, and just don't judge yourself. And then the editing will come later. Whether you do it or you have somebody else do it, that will come later on. But the first step is to just get what's going on in here onto the page.
I wish I could sort of bottle you up for people, because I can't express the delight, right, that it feels when one gets this writing back, that it's like it literally like magicked, as I like to say to my friends. You magicked it.
Well, I had a lot of magic to work with. I mean, I've told you, I've told Sue, the content in this book is so amazing that I was literally sitting at my computer with my mouth hanging open. Every story was off the chart. I mean, it drew me in. I was amazed by every person and the different ways in which they use their gifts in all walks of life.
It's it's beautiful that you can see that, though. I guess what is your amazing superheroine power is this ability to see and know and feel it in a way that I have never encountered anybody else. And so from that place, it's like the most deliciousness that I can express, right? So, and again, we couldn't have done it without you. Like literally all of the authors are like, Dana's good. I'm like, she is. And you also make them feel like you're their best friend. So that also was very useful for us. So thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, they were such a pleasure. I mean, it was so much fun. I loved working on this. I loved it.
And we are so grateful. I'll just say it another 7 or 8 times, but now here's the thing. If I ever write anything again, I'm calling Dana, because this is the second time I've been able to work with you. But if I ever have a chance to write anything ever again, you're my first call. How do other people find you? Can you tell us your website? How to best be out in touch with you? Like how can we find you?
Through my website, it's writersinthesky.com. I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good way to get me. I'm on Facebook too, but I'm really bad with Facebook. Like I miss like days and days and days of news feeds, and so I'd say LinkedIn or my website is the best way. Yeah.
Can you tell us what your website is, and spell it out?
www.writers, WRITERS writers in the sky. Imagine that. I can't spell. .com.
Well, and that is one of your superpowers, Dana, is your humor and your willingness to be lighthearted with everything that you do with those that you work with. And like I said, I had the privilege of being part of that. Thank you so much for sharing everything you did today on the Empath Insights Summit. And really, you did a beautiful, the way you explained you were clued in to being an empath is a little bit different insight than anyone has shared. Even though you thought it was regular, no one had spoken about it. So thank you for sharing that with people, because there are probably people watching this that are like, I wonder if I am one. I don't know. What does it mean? And then like how to work through the challenges that come around being naturally sensitive, open, and receiving, right? And then like how to write our stories and to just really let ourselves do it and write down what comes through. That insight is so important, because our mental mind wants to critique it, right? And start editing. And you want us in that right brain flow and in that connection with our body and actually sharing our story in its wholeness. So that's what I really, really appreciate about you. And I'm so grateful that you are here today to share on the summit.
Thank you both so much. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you, audience, for being with us here on the Empath Insights Summit. Remember to watch the other wonderful authors' interviews, and wait for it, April 28th, 2022 is our launch day. And help us become Amazon best-selling authors. Go to our website, the letter U, empath, EMPATH, YOUBOOK.com. So empath, youempathyoubook.com. Empath, get there. See? This is fun. This is why we need to be edited and when we write. When we speak, we just keep on going. So when you go to the website on April 28th, what you're going to do is you're going to push the button and go over to Amazon, get your 99-cent Kindle copy. You're going to grab the receipt number. You're going to go back to the website, put it in the spot that says receipt number here, because guess what? There are a whole bunch of bonuses from our partners and other authors, free gifts for you for being a purchaser on April 28th during our 99-cent Kindle launch. And how are you going to remember? Grab your communication apparatus, whatever it looks like, set yourself a calendar notice. And with that calendar notice, set a couple alarms so that you remember to go to the website, the letter U, empath, YOU, book.com, and get your copy of You Empath You resource book for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Big aloha.